Hi there, and welcome to this tutorial on how to critique stories on CC. This is your CC homepage, and often you will find stories that you can create on this page. But for newer members, we recommend that you find stories by going to Stories, View Stories. Here you will see a list of all the genres which have stories up for review right now. Stories spend 7 days in the review cycle from Wednesday to Wednesday, so you have 1 week to critique each story. Let's say that we're interested in fantasy, and we click here and we get a list of all the fantasy stories that are up for review right now. You can click Show All if you want to find some more. Now you can scan the list of stories. You see the first few paragraphs of each, and then once you find the story that you're interested in, click it and you can start the review process. When you click on a story, you're taken to this page. Here you can read the story in its entirety before committing to a critique and decide if you want to critique this story or not. You can read up to 5 stories per day before you have submitted your first crit. Once you've written a single crit, this is lifted and you can read as many stories per day as you want. You can, if you don't really have anything to say, but you like what you see, you can just hit the like button and let the author know that you like the story. If you want to critique the story at a later date, you can click Add Bookmark, and the story will now be visible on your front page, and you can critique it at any time in the future. You can also reformat the story. You can change the font, text size, and everything else here so that you can read the story in exactly the way that you want to. Okay, we like what we see, but we want to contribute some information to the author that will help him make his story a little bit better. Then we now hit Critique Story to get started. We now find ourselves on the Critique Story page. This is where you write your actual critique. The critique is written in comment boxes above and below the story, as well as in the story's text itself. It's always a good idea to start by adding some opening comments where you can introduce yourselves and maybe tell the author a little bit about what sort of crit they can expect from you. The critique is automatically saved to the cloud, so you can just exit it at any time. And when you get back to it, it'll be right where you left it. Now, once I've added some opening comments, I can start to read the story and add comments on each paragraph by clicking it. If you want to quote something from the actual story, you can just select the text, click the quote button, and it'll automatically be placed in your text box, where you can add your own inline comments. To start working on another paragraph, you can just scroll down and click it. Note that you don't have to write comments on every paragraph. Just write comments where you think you can have something to offer. Now you can continue to write your critique, and as you do, notice that your word count will go up, and you will need to write 300 words in order to get 1 credit for your critique. Be careful not to pad your crit, since that might influence your standing with Critique Circle. You can see we've now written 175 words. We receive half a credit for that. We want to receive full credit, so we continue writing until we reach at least 300 words. If you write 600 words or more, you get an additional half credit, and if you write 900 words, you get full 2 credits for it. 300 words is quite enough for your first crit. So once everything is done, we can go through our crit. We're happy with what we see, so now we just click review, and here we can submit our crit. And keep in mind, at any time you can leave the page and return, and the crit will be exactly the way you left it. Now I can edit it if I want to make some more changes, or if I'm happy with this, I will click submit and send the crit to the author. This is our critique receipt page. Here we can see that we received 1 credit for the critique. We now have 3 credits, which means that we can submit our own story. There are some typical options here that allow you to view other crits on the story. Since you cannot view crits until you have critiqued the story yourself, it might be interesting to see what other people have said. Since this is a novel, you can follow it so that you receive notifications if the novel receives new chapters. You can like the story so that the author knows that you liked what you read. And you can get notifications if other people are critiquing the story. This is also very interesting. Now that your first critique has been completed, you will notice that you have 3 credits, and this is enough to submit your own story for review. You can do that by clicking on the Submit Story button on the front page, or by going to Stories, Submit Story. You will notice that if you are completing the checklist, that all the items are done except for the one of submitting your own story. Once you do that, you will be able to get 2 weeks of premium membership for free, which I hope that you will take advantage of. If you want to view the critique that you have just submitted, you can go to Stories, My Critiques, go to the Sent tab, and here you can see your critique. You can always view this critique later and see what you have written. That's it for this tutorial. I hope you found this informative, and I invite you to view the other tutorials that we have available. And please, if you have any problems, send a message to the moderator message box in site, and we will help you out. Welcome to CC!